6A series puts that to the test tonight in Oakland. The preeminent pitchers duel of the first round is just moments away from unfolding next. It is time. Time to turn up the heat. Time for heroes to make their mark. Time to put the past behind.
I want it all. I want it all.
For a decade, he has been baseball's most feared pitcher. Tonight, it's Pedro's time to shine.
I want it all.
A gutty, determined warrior. There is no fear in Tim Hudson's eyes. He is ready for his time. Two teams hunt for October. Their best marksmen take dead aim. Their time is now. League's #1 hitting team is about to clash with the league's #1 pitching staff. Game 1 of the American League Division Series, the high-scoring Red Sox and the strong-armed Oakland A's from Network Associates Coliseum. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Oakland, California. Dave O'Brien along with David Justice and Jeff Brantley. Nice of you to join us. And David, as we look at the Boston Red Sox on full display, it's the #1 offense in all of baseball. They actually shattered the 1927 New York Yankee record for slugging percentage. That's saying something. Tim Hudson, a guy you shared a clubhouse with last year, is on the mound trying to beat them tonight. How's he going to do it?
Well, he's ready. Tim Hudson lives for these type of games. He will be unhittable tonight if he does what he did on August the 11th, where he pitched a 2-hit shutout and totally dominated this Boston Red Sox lineup. I think what will happen is he calls it the best game of his career, first of all. And he understands the importance of coming out here and giving them a good, solid outing, knowing that they do not have Mulder now. So he understands the importance of him winning, and he understands the importance of Zito.
Well, you know, he did it against Pedro Martinez, who was on the mound tonight for the Boston Red Sox. But, Jeff Brantley, this is not the same Pedro we've seen over the last couple of years. In fact, over the last 2 months, he's really altered some things. He starts a lot of his ball games throwing 83 to 85 miles an hour. That's not the Pedro we're used to.
Well, we're not. And realizes that the Red Sox hopes really count on him pitching deep into ball games. He's got to be pitch efficient early in the ball games to make that happen. Pedro, yesterday talking to him, he was very unhappy about 105 pitches in 5 innings last time he faced Hudson, and he lost. Now, looking at his eyes, he's looking for retribution. Pedro, when he's on a mission, that is doom for the Oakland A's.
Maybe, but the Oakland A's say they are ready to wait him out and try to get inside of the bullpen. The slender right-hander remains one of the great pitchers of our lifetime. He's healthy and in a serious groove. Tim Hudson, he was brilliant in his only start against Boston and that high-octane offense in August. So game 1 could be the pitcher's duel of October, and it's coming your way next from Oakland, California. Best in baseball offense up against the American League's best pitching staff. Our man on the field is Dave Ryan. And Dave, this isn't just another good hitting Boston club. This Red Sox edition is historically special, are they not?
Dave, thanks so much, and you're right. An amazing year of history for the Boston Red Sox bats. There are 2 records most baseball fans thought would never go down. As you mentioned, the 1927 Yanks murderers row with guys like Babe Ruth and Lou Gehrig. The slug percentage record broken by these Red Sox, 491. And then the RBI depth. 8 different players with 80-plus RBIs. Look at Bill Miller, who hit most of the year in the 8-hole. He won the American League batting title with a 326 average. Jason Varitek in the 9-hole, 85 RBIs. This team also set the major league record for total bases and extra base hits. And Dave, if you compare what Oakland has done, just Miguel Tejada, Eric Chavez, 2 players with 80-plus RBIs. A big difference in RBI production between these 2 teams.
Thank you, Dave Ryan. One of our trio of Daves on tonight's show. Dave Justice, Dave O'Brien. I'm wondering how Jeff Brantley got on the show. We'll get into that later as we get to Grady Little's very potent offense presented by Bristol Myers Squibb. Nomar Garcia-Parra, Manny Ramirez, and David Ortiz, they all drove in over 100 runs. But Bill Miller won the American League batting title, and he can't crack the top 6 in Boston's lineup. Trot Nixon starting tonight, too, despite an ailing left calf. And they're up against Tim Hudson, a right-hander, 16-7 during the regular season, JB, and he was brilliant in his only start this season against Boston. Just 2 infield hits. He could not have pitched better.
He was so excited to be able to face Martinez early in the season, and he came out and pitched a tremendous ball game. He threw a lot of split fingers inside to these right-handed hitters, and he followed it with the fastball, running in on their hands. And the thing that I noticed most about Hudson in that ball game is his sinker wasn't just running flat, it was sinking straight down. And anytime that the ball is going down and dropping off the table, it was almost like a backwards curveball. It was very difficult for these Red Sox hitters to hit, and I know that's the kind of game he wants to have tonight.
Right now defensively around Hudson for Oakland, it'll be Jose Guillen in left field, Chris Singleton in center, Jermaine Dye in right. Scott Hatterberg mans first, the former Red Sox player. Mark Ellis at second. Miguel Tejada, the reigning MVP at shortstop. Eric Chavez is at third base, and Ramon Hernandez does the catching. Now, A's groundskeeper Clay Wood had his crew resawed about 11,000 square feet of this field yesterday morning after the Raiders game on Sunday chewed it up. He admits the outfield grass is not in good shape, and it's going to play extremely fast. David, does either side benefit from that?
Well, no side really benefits from it, but it's going to be very important for these outfielders to make sure that they take the right angles, because you do not want a double to turn into a triple.
Randy Marsh is behind the plate tonight, 22-year veteran out of the University of Kentucky. Very much a hitter's umpire, Jeff Brantley, and that could be Pedro's nightmare because of the pitch count issue.
Well, for either pitcher at this point, anytime that you have a tight strike zone, it makes it difficult on the guy that's standing on the mound, whether it's Tim Hudson or whether it's Pedro.
Johnny Damon in the box and ready to go. A 273 hitter with a dozen home runs. And the first pitch of game one is on the way. And it's in there for a strike, and here we go. We expect this to be the top pitchers duel, perhaps of the entire 2003 playoffs. Hudson with 16 wins against Pedro Martinez. A little trickler on the infield. Ellis there for the stop, one away. And you may see a lot of that tonight if Hudson has that sinker going, if he has that splitter moving the way he did against Boston on August 11th. They only had 2 men reach first base. Nobody went beyond first in 9 innings in that game.
And he just wants to get to this first inning unscathed. I mean, there's so many emotions out there. And the fans are excited. You just want to get through that first inning so that you can go back to that dugout and try to settle down a little bit.
Here's Garciaparra, 301 during the regular season. His batting average down from past years, but he did drive in 105, and he scored 120 runs. He takes inside ball 1.
I can't believe I just saw Nomar Garciaparra take the first pitch. What's up with that?
It's 1-0. It says right there on the screen, JB. Garciaparra really feasts on the Oakland A pitching staff. 371 during the season. He's hit 10 career home runs against Oakland. And Nomar has been spectacular in the postseason against everybody. In 13 career playoff games, a .383 hitter, 7 homers and 20 RBIs. Got a piece of it to hang in there.
You can see that pitch right there. After the sinker away from Nomar that he swung over the top of, this pitch is right on his knuckles. A very aggressive hitter, but that ball starts in a zone where you've got to commit, and by the time you swing, it's right on top of your wrist.
Hudson, 28 years old, out of Columbus, Georgia, 6'1", 164 pounds, and a pitch up and in. Little message there for Nomar. Todd Walker, the on-deck hitter.
Well, he's approaching this start the same way as he approached that August 11th start. He's pounding them inside and basically saying, I'm going to pitch you the same way as I pitched you on August 11th. I'm waiting for you to adjust to me because I'm not going to adjust to you.
The 2-2 fouled away by Garciaparra.
And I think Hudson, just like Pedro will be, wants these hitters to be aggressive. They have enough confidence in their stuff. They want to pitch to contact, not away from contact. The fewer pitches that you throw in these first 3 innings, especially with your adrenaline pumping and your heart beating, makes you that much stronger as the game goes on.
Ken Maka has his team in the playoffs in his first year at the helm. He was very nearly the Red Sox manager. Garciaparra swings and misses for strike 3. 2 down. Let's go back to the studio in Colorado. It's Carl.
Dave, thank you. A lot of people holding out hope for perhaps the Cubs-Red Sox World Series. Chicago took a hit in the 8th inning after walking Rafael Furcal. Mark DeRosa comes up with the biggest hit of the night. He brings in both runners, gives Chicago a 2-run deficit as they face John Smoltz for the 2nd straight inning. There are no outs in the 9th.
Carl, thank you very much. The batter, Todd Walker, checks in at 283, 13 homers, 85 runs batted in. Yet another member of the Red Sox with more than 80 RBIs. It's just astonishing how many runs the Red Sox score, the top run scoring team in the big leagues. They won 95 games during the regular season, averaging almost 6 runs per contest. But they dropped 4 out of 7 head-to-head with the A's during the regular season.
Well, you see the switch between Garcia-Parra hitting in the 2nd spot and now Walker hitting in the 3rd spot. Walker is a guy that loves the fastball, and if you're hitting in front of Manny Ramirez, the last thing that you want to do if you're Tim Hudson is walk this guy. Walker's going to see some heat.
Sees a strike there, 3-1. Walker taking all the way. Manny next. 37 home runs, 104 RBIs, but it was a controversial season for Manny in many ways. The 3-1 hit high and deep to right, pulled along the line, sailing to the corner, and it is gone. A home run. Todd Walker touches the ball. The Red Sox lead it 1-0. They do something in their very first trip to the plate tonight, in the very first inning off Hudson, that they did not do at all in 9 innings on August 11th. They got to the hit out of the infield.
And for the Red Sox, this is exactly how you want to start a game. Kind of settle this crowd down a little bit. Give some momentum to your ball club. You're playing in Oakland. Putting the pressure on them right from the very beginning.
Sinker up in the strike zone, trying not to walk him, having Manny on deck. That just shows you what a superstar in the lineup makes everybody else better.
And here is that superstar, Manny Ramirez, 325, 37 homers, 104 runs batted in. And he has punished Oakland over the years with a whopping 30 home runs in 92 games. But immediately the Red Sox get on the board against Hudson, who is as good as a pitcher can be against Boston in one start this year.
And both of these pitchers, you want to get to them early. I know that the A's want to get to Pedro early. You want to be able to get him before they're sharp.
Ramirez tried to check, and he did, according to the first base umpire, Eric Cooper. The ball is 1 strike.
The longer either one of these pitchers pitching this ball game, the tougher they're going to be, because once they find that zone and they get comfortable out there, I don't care how good offense you got, how many RBIs you got.
Hudson comes in, and it's punched foul by Ramirez. David Ortiz up next. One of the great stories for Boston this year. Manny, as we talked about, really wears out the Oakland A's. Of course, he does that against a lot of clubs. And during the regular season this year, he hit .370 against Oakland. And you're talking about the #1 pitching staff maybe in all of baseball.
Most ball clubs, when you score 1 run in the first inning, you think, well, we can fight back, we can battle back. When you've got Pedro going, 1 run may be the parachute that you need.
Especially where he's been pitching.
2-2. Manny chased it, foul, tipped it in the net for strike 3. So Hudson whiffed a couple, but he also gave up the big fly to Todd Walker. And it's 1-0 Boston in Game 1. We welcome those of you who have been following the Braves as they knocked off the Chicago Cubs to even up that series. Welcome to Oakland, California, where the A's are hosting the Boston Red Sox, as we give you a look at the Bristol-Myers Squibb starting lineup now for the Oakland A's, who trail 1-0. Mark Ellis at the top. Rubio Durazo is the DH tonight. Chavez, the third baseman, 29 home runs during the regular season. Tejada drove in 106. Jose Guillen playing with a broken bone in his hand. Jermaine Dye has also been injured this season, a separated shoulder, but he's batting 8th, and they'll all be taking on the right-hander Pedro Martinez. Bad news for Oakland, Jeff Brantley. The man who led the majors in ERA is healthy and throwing the best he has all season.
Pitch efficiency for Pedro, especially early in this ball game, is going to be absolutely critical. I know that Grady Little really wants to get Pedro into the 7th inning, and what that does is it allows him to not overexpose this bullpen for the Boston Red Sox. If Pedro can get some pitches and some quick outs early in this ball game, it's Katie Ball to do.
Ellis will test him first, and the first pitch is in there for strike 1. Millard is in on the grass at third to guard against the bunt. Ellis a .248 hitter. And Durazo up after him. Popped up in a shallow right center. Nixon moving over, and Damon there. Johnny Damon makes the catch for out number 1.
And Pedro, just like Hudson, they're going to try to establish that fastball early.
Defensively now for Boston, Manny Ramirez in left, Johnny Damon centered field. Trot Nixon is in right, but he's ailing. Kevin Millar at first base. Todd Walker at second. Nomar Garciaparra, the shortstop. Bill Miller at third base. Jason Varitek is the catcher. Out of the 8 teams that made the playoffs this year, 7 of them have a catcher like Varitek, who was an all-star either this year or last year.
All-star hitting number 9 in this lineup. Wow.
With that serious power, and we've already seen it on a home run by Walker down the right field line off of Tim Hudson to get Boston in front 1-0. DeRozzo taking a strikeout along the outside corner, a .259 hitter with 21 homers during the regular season.
Every once in a while, you're going to see Varitek looking up at these hitters as he's giving his sign to Pedro. He wants to make sure none of these hitters cheat and try to catch location.
0-2 wrap foul. DeRozzo staying healthy enough to have more than 222 at-bats during the season. For the first time in his career, he did hit 21 home runs. There's some serious power in his bat, David Justice, and Maka hits him in the 2-hole.
Well, they moved him up to second because he has a great eye. He draws walks. He has a high on-base percentage. And they like that from a guy like that to hit second. And he's been doing a great job. As you see with Pedro, Pedro's trying to establish that fastball early, just like Huddy was trying to do it. The point doing that is by him establishing that fastball in and out early, then it makes that changeup a lot better of a pitch because Pedro relies on hitters chasing that changeup out of the strike zone in order to be effective.
Base is empty, 1 out. Martinez trying to claim his first strikeout victim of the ball game, and he breaks the bat. He did claim that. Miller will fire on to retired DeRozzo. The bat shattering in the meat end, winding up sailing beyond first base toward right field. 2 away. Pedro has just been amazing as of late. 7-2 with a 1.83 ERA in his last 10 starts. And since Boston acquired Martinez for the 1998 season from Montreal, his record is 101-28. That's a winning percentage of over 78%.
Well, in the month of September, I think he's figured out there's no way he can go out there and just try to blow hitters away every single start. And I think what he's realized is that he can still get guys out with his mediocre stuff as long as he locates and changes speeds early in the ball game, and that's what he's doing right here.
And what he does for your team's confidence is also unbelievable. They know that when they step on the field with the winning percentage that he has had as a Red Sox, they like their chances. The whole confidence of the whole team automatically elevates.
Chavez went fishing there and foul tipped it. Eric Chavez at .282 during the season with 29 homers. Just 3 out of 21 lifetime against Pedro Martinez. So Eric did not sleep all that well last night. He cuts and misses for strike 3. Martinez tied him up. They go in order. 1, 2, 3. That's it for the A's. Now back to the studio and Carl Ravitch.
Hi, Dave. Thank you. Now that Brave Cub game is over, all the country that is watching the Red Sox A's will move over to ESPN. On ESPN2, some championship jump roping will resume. The break, and then bottom half of the inning for the A's and the Red Sox on ESPN.
On to the second inning in Oakland, and Ortiz goes right after the first pitch from Tim Hudson. David Ortiz, the designated hitter for Boston, a .288 average with 31 home runs. Just 1 out of 15 during the year against Oakland. Maybe the only down stat of a terrific season for him. Hudson got that one by him, and the count quickly moves to 0-2.
And what an amazing pickup for this Boston Red Sox ball club. And here's a guy in Minnesota pretty much just let go. And to come in here, and he basically exceeded all the expectations this year, and they're happy to have him.
Look what he did, JB, in the second half. 21 home runs for Boston.
Anytime you start getting mentioned for the MVP, you've done something pretty good.
One of 5 Red Sox sluggers to hit 25 or more home runs, and that's a major league first. And David Ortiz right in the middle of it, and a lot of big home runs too.
When you look at this lineup, because it's so balanced, not one player in this lineup feels like he has to be the one to drive in runs. Like, if I don't drive in a run, we're not going to win. So therefore, they're all able to just relax and just get a good pitch to hit, knowing that the person behind them can do the job if they don't do it.
And man, do they ever get a lot of good pitches to hit. But that's good hitting too, waiting for your pitch. And there are a lot of grinders, guys like Varitek and Bill Miller and Kevin Millar. Manny Ramirez even qualifies as that kind of a hitter.
Well, if you're facing this lineup as a pitcher, the last thing that you want to do is walk Bill Miller or pitch around Trot Nixon. I mean, you're going down 7, 8, 9, and then you got Varitek coming up. I don't want to face these guys. I don't want to face them with runners on base. I'm going to make them swing the bat.
That's right. The number 9 hitter Varitek, 25 home runs and 85 RBIs.
Basically, there's nowhere a pitcher can rest in this lineup. He has to be on his P's and Q's. He has to have his optimum focus up and down this whole lineup.
When's the last time we saw a batting champion hitting in the number 7 spot?
That's right.
How about that?
As Bill Miller finished out the year at 326, 1 point better than Ramirez. Outside on Ortiz. And this is a perfect example. He was 0-2 in a heartbeat. Red Sox this season, the first club to have 5 men with 25 or more. He was 0-2 on David Ortiz, now 2-2, and he's working the count. Hudson comes in, and it's popped up into left. In comes Guillen, and he's going to make the catch. There's Guillen, who's playing with a broken hamate bone in his left hand. He's got a lot of padding underneath that glove, underneath the batting glove and his fielding glove. We'll talk about that when he comes up to swing for Oakland. The Red Sox ahead here 1-0 on a Todd Walker home run. As the A's looking for a big hammer themselves, and they have a couple, but certainly nothing in the same class as the Red Sox. Guys like Kevin Millar, I wouldn't say part of the backdrop, part of the scenery, because Millar drove in 96 runs, but he's just one of the guys.
And just another addition to this ball club. And with him and Ortiz, the Red Sox did not expect this type of production from those two. So they're extremely happy with what they did for this ball club this year, to go along with Nomar and Manny and the rest of the guys.
But they've got a lot of guys on this Boston ball club that play the game aggressively, and they play the game for each other, not selfishly.
Which, quite frankly, is a change of pace. I mean, the Red Sox over the years have that image of being a selfish ball club from time to time. 25 men, 25 calves.
But this is a very cohesive group. When you go into their clubhouse, they're all sitting there together. They're all chatting up together. This is a team that really gets along. And you can see it on the field. You can see it in the dugout. This is a team that really pulls for each other. And
I think the pickup of Millar along those lines was a great move by the Red Sox, because he is a glue guy in their clubhouse. That's in there for a strike. Great sense of humor. Keeps everybody loose. And he'll get in the face of Manny Ramirez and Omar Garciaparra just as assuredly as he will the 25th man.
Well, there was a lot of talk of this bid in this ball club about statistics and things that they were trying to do statistically, numbers-wise. But what they've done better than anything else is character on this ball club.
So the Red Sox with a fine stop on Collins' throw, and will not get him. He's safe at first. Millar sliding in. Halliburton had to lead first base on the throw by Tejada. So it's a single for Millar here with 1 down in the second.
And this was a tough play by Tejada. Anytime you have to go in a hole with all your momentum going away from your target, which is first base, it's a very tough play. And he has to go far into the hole. All of his momentum now is going away from first base. That's a tough play any way you look at it. Still almost got him.
And you can see Millar. He sees Hatteberg start to move towards the first base dugout, and what does he do? He slides to the inside.
He cowboyed up.
There you go.
I was talking to Millar earlier, and we're talking about the cohesiveness of this ball club. And he said their bench, the guys that are not playing, do the best at keeping them up. Guys like Damian Jackson, Mirabelli, because these guys are outstanding on the bench, always cheering and keeping the team up.
Miller's 326 led the American League. The 2003 batting champ. In fact, 4 of the last 5 batting champs in the American League have been Red Sox. Bill Miller's always been a nice hitter, a 286 career guy coming into this season. But his acquisition proved magical for both Miller and Boston, a perfect fit, like Fenway and the Green Monster. He was the first player in Major League history to hit grand slams from both sides of the plate in the same game. 1 strike on him, a runner at first and 1 away. Millar getting his lead. The Red Sox on a Todd Walker home run have the lead off Hudson. Fastball thugs in there for a strike. Game 1 of this division series from Network Associates Coliseum in Oakland, California. A pitcher's duel like none other. We thought coming in it might turn out to be exactly that. Pedro Martinez against Tim Hudson. Hudson working from the stretch here. Miller with good power, 19 home runs. And he went for it there. He was trying to knock one over the right field fence.
I think if you look at some of the pitches that Tim Hudson is making, especially the pitch that Walker hit out of the ballpark in the first inning, all of these balls are elevated. That happens a lot of times, especially in playoff situations. Your adrenaline is high. You can't stay back. You don't keep your weight on that back leg. And a lot of times your hand gets flat and your sinker gets flat. And that's what we're seeing right now from Tim Hudson. He's got to correct this, or this is going to be a long night for Hudson.
And that's why you're saying that when Tim Hudson, the longer he's out there, the more he'll settle down and the more he'll get that ball down in the strike zone.
Yeah, but the longer Pedro's out there, the better he gets, too. He's got a 1-0 lead. Check swing. Did not make contact. The runner trying to move up the line, trying to get in, and he's out. Come down at second base. It did not trickle far enough, and Hernandez pounced on it and came up gunning to get him. So the Red Sox lose a man on the bases. Hudson knows it's a big play.
Hernandez does a great job right here. The split finger in the dirt. You can see him cup his body to keep the ball in front, and he pounces on it right off of the bat and makes a perfect throw to Tejada to get Millar. Look at him cup his body. Hernandez, this is what you're supposed to do as a catcher. You cup your body, trying to make basically a cone out of your body to keep the ball when it ricochets off the dirt to drop right in front of you. That's picture perfect catching and blocking at the same time.
So 2 down, and the 1-2 to Miller is up and away.
But I also think Boston is saying, hey, we're going to stay on you. We're going to play aggressive baseball. Any chance we get that we think we can take an extra base, we're going to try to do it. You're going to have to throw us out every time. We're going to keep applying the pressure on you.
And I know Hernandez right now is talking to Hudson, trying to calm him down a little bit. Hey, buddy, take your time. Find the strike zone. You're either a 55-footer or you're throwing the ball up in the strike zone. That's not Tim Hudson.
Bill Miller, a career 0 for 9 off the right-hander. Make him 0 for 10. Strikeout number 3 for Tim Hudson. He got some big help from Ramon Hernandez, and now trying to get a lift from Miggy Tejada when we come back to Oakland. It's a cool, breezy night here in Oakland at Network Associates Coliseum. Game number 1 between the Red Sox and the Oakland A's. 1-0 Boston. Pedro Martinez looked very smooth in the first inning, striking out Eric Chavez. Now he gets Tejada, Hatterberg, and Guillen here in inning number 2.
Well, when you look at Pedro, he just looks more comfortable right now. It looks like he has his emotions managed, as if he understands the magnitude of this game a little bit better than Tim Hudson. Tim Hudson, as Jeff was saying, needs to manage his emotions a little bit better and get that ball lower in the zone. Pedro looks as cool, as calm as you can get right now.
Tejada, 27 home runs during the season, drove in 106 runs. The major's current Iron Man. He's played in 594 consecutive games, the 20th longest in baseball history as a playing streak.
You look back to that August 11th game, how Pedro was out in the 5th, and we talked about this earlier, and Hudson pitched so well. How do you duplicate a 2-hit shutout? It makes you think, well, I've got to do something different.
Comebacker Martinez has it. Cool as can be, and guns down Tejada. One away, Hatterberg next. And a lot of great baseball coming your way tomorrow. The Red Sox and the A's, it's game 2. That'll be Zito against Wakefield on ESPN2 at 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 Pacific. And the Twins and the Yankees, game number 2. That's on Fox at 8 o'clock Eastern, 5 Pacific. Minnesota leading 1-0. Radke and Pettit, the pitcher's duel in that one. Scott Hatterberg now has spent the first 7 years of his career with the Red Sox. And he has hit well in October in 25 playoff at-bats, a .360 average. Ian to follow him. The Oakland A's, the American League West champs again. They were 96 and 66 during the regular season. The second best record in the American League behind the Yankees. But their 57 home wins matched the Giants for the best home record in the majors. And catches the corner for a strike.
You watch Pedro on some of these left-handed hitters. He'll start him inside, and what that tells me, when he starts him inside with that fastball, he's going to try to finish him with that changeup.
Hit right there to Millar, and he's going to feed underhand style to Pedro for out number 2. So the first 5 have gone down easily to Martinez. That'll bring up Jose Guillen, the left fielder, a .265 hitter. Now, Guillen made a remarkable comeback from a broken bone, the hamate bone in his left hand, which he hurt on a swing on September 14th. He missed just 1 week of the season, but he's got a great big padding in there, JB.
David, how important is it, that bottom hand to a power hitter to drive through the baseball? His hand is broke.
Well, hands are as important to a hitter as your legs are to a speed guy. And he's playing hurt right now, but this tells you how the A's view his presence in the lineup, because you have Terrence Sloan that could be playing, you have Eric Burns that could be playing outfield. They've chosen to go with Guillen, who is injured still.
Got Jan there and filed it back to September 14th, and this is how you see these injuries, the hamate bone snapping on swings like this.
Well, you can see that left hand is down below the knob, and a lot of times you hit that ball off the end of the bat. It only takes a little bit of pressure on that hamate bone, and it's going to crack.
Well, I talked to him before the game, and I asked him about that hand, and I'm telling you, he feels it. He's not 100%, but he definitely feels it. But he's going to give you all he has. But, you know, he's definitely playing injured.
The pad is on the inside, the palm side of that hand, not up top like you see when guys get hit by pitches, like Bagwell used to wear that great big thing.
And you can see all that tape on the end of the bat. You don't even see a knob at the end of the bat because it's trying to make it as smooth as possible so there's no edge to dig into that palm of his left hand.
But once or twice a night he takes a swing, and that reminds him he's got a busted bone in there.
Right, he's going to feel it. Definitely, he's going to feel it throughout as far as the A's go, he's going to feel it.
Little looper, that's going to drop down for a base hit. That's the first man to reach off Pedro Martinez tonight for the Oakland A's. A 2-out single for Guillen.
Well, he gets a rare breaking ball. Pedro's been throwing pretty much fastballs up until this point. He gets a breaking ball out over the plate and up, and just serves it right in the right field.
Talking to Tito Francona before the ballgame, he said, JB, he goes, I think it's actually made this hand injury has actually made Guillen a little bit more patient. He doesn't chase as many balls. It's actually made him a better hitter, even though it's taken away from his power.
As well as he won't overswing now, because knowing that if he overswings, it's going to hurt him even more.
So Guillen is on. Ramon Hernandez, the catcher, at 273. 21 homers, had a big year for himself. Swing a shot out to left center field toward the alley. Damon on the move, and he'll track it down for the catch out number 3. So Pedro Martinez pitches around a base hit from Guillen, and that's it for Oakland. Still 1-0 Boston.
ESPN's presentation of the 2003 MLB Division Series, brought to you by Las Vegas. The biggest, best resorts in the world all share the same address, only in Vegas.
Game 1 in Oakland. The Red Sox on a Todd Walker solo home run in the first inning off Tim Hudson have a 1-0 lead over the Oakland A's. It's out of the top half of inning number 3. Perhaps we'll hear from Miguel Tejada tonight with the bat, the reigning MVP. A big house here in Oakland, California, at Network Associates Coliseum. Trot Nixon will lead things off for Boston. Then it's Varitek and Damon. 8-9-1 against Hudson. Nixon in that lineup. Some might be surprised because Nixon is playing with a painful injury right now, sprained calf. And in fact, he missed the last 5 games of the regular season because of that. There was some question, a lot of question actually, Jeff Brantley and David Justice, as to whether or not he would be healthy enough to play. It's a very painful injury. JB, he's toughing it out right now.
Well, he is toughing it out. I know if I'm Tim Hudson, I'm going to try some different things, knowing that he's got his back leg is a little bit sore. Maybe does it hurt your power when you're a power hitter and you've got no backside strength? What does he have to do to be able to do something normal?
Well, it depends how much weight he puts on that backside. If it affects him driving off that backside, he's going to lose power, because power starts from the legs up. If he's not able to maximize his leg strength, he's going to have a tough time producing power.
All he has to do now is turn around and walk back slowly to the dugout, a strikeout victim. Let's look at that swing again from the side.
See, as you can see, he's got that wide stance, so he has a strong base. And you just don't know how much of that calf injury keeps him from staying back, because he's probably putting more weight on the front leg, which will then move him, you know, out over his front side.
Well, that's exactly right, because that was a split finger right there, and he missed that by a foot.
Particularly hard on Nixon because he had such a good year. And here's Varitek. But across the board, a big year for Nixon in batting average, home runs, slugging percentage, on base, career highs for him.
This is a tough game to play even when you're healthy. when you have an injury, it's even tougher then.
Line drive and a base hit right up the middle by Varitek, and he is on with the third Boston hit this evening. A one-out single. So the Red Sox catcher, who also had a career year in homers and in RBIs, now 2 out of 12 career off Hudson.
Well, this is a sinker down in the strike zone. This shows you how strong this Boston Red Sox lineup is. A good pitch, a quality pitch down in the zone to the number 9 hitter. You got to pitch out of the stretch now.
And they just keep coming. Now they turn it over and they just keep coming at you. This is the one team this year that I felt did an outstanding job of playing 27 outs, 9 innings every game.
If you're Tim Hudson, you got no time to take a break.
Here's Johnny Damon. He takes one on the corner for a strike. Johnny 0 for 1. He's grounded out to second. A former Oakland A for the 2001 season. And he batted over 400 that postseason for Oakland, and now he's trying to beat them. Varitek at first base, a very short lead. And another one in there for a strike. Randy Marsh is definitely a pitcher's umpire. We talked about this when we opened up the telecast tonight. Unlike some other playoff umpires we've already seen working the plate.
Well, that last pitch from Hudson was a fastball up. You saw Hernandez give him a higher target. He may try to come back with that split finger right here to try to get that ground ball and get out of this inning.
Line drive sliced into left and a base hit. Damon is on. Varitek into second.
And that's exactly what he did right there. Jeff, you called it exactly. The only difference is Johnny Damon did an outstanding job of allowing this pitch to get further in the strike zone, and he just stayed down on it and took it to left. This is a pitch that normally you may roll over to second base for a double play.
Got to make a better pitch right there when it's 0-2. You can't leave that ball on the outside corner. That was a nasty pitch, but 0-2, it's got to be nastier.
Right. More like a chase pitch.
Exactly.
Something, yeah.
Go fishing, baby.
It's really going to be fascinating as Garciaparra digs in to see how the outfield grass, which is going to play extremely fast, comes into play in this game and in this series. Garciaparra 0 for 1. The Raiders game really chewed it up on Sunday.
And with this outfield, you have 3 really good arms out there. And the ball will get to him quicker because this outfield right now is almost like playing on ice.
Broken bat roller to Chavez. He'll tag out the runner. Gun on the first, not in time. No double play.
Right there in that situation for Chavez, he's got to throw the ball to Ellis at second base and turn the double play over. You can't take 5 or 6 steps to try to tag the runner, especially with Walker coming up next after hitting that home run early. Watch this play right here. He needs to take this ball and throw it directly to second base, and he doesn't do it, and it cost him the double play.
Well, I think he was banking on Varitek probably running a lot faster, and Varitek did a great job of basically stopping, making him take a couple extra steps, therefore giving Garciaparra a few more steps to make it.
So 2 on with 2 out, but no twin killing, and that brings up the dangerous Todd Walker. With Garciaparra reaching at first base. Damon in at second. Walker has already homered tonight. Fastball in there for a strike.
But the point we're making about this outfield is, at this time of the year, this outfield plays very fast, almost like playing on an ice rink. The ball gets to the outfielders a lot quicker. With the outfielders charging the ball and with the arms that these Oakland A's have out there, it's going to be very tough for this Boston Red Sox team to score from second base with anyone else other than probably Johnny Damon.
That's right. It's fast to begin with, and faster now because of all the extra work they've had to do on it to try and make it something close to normal after the football game. Some of the grass that, when we pan that outfield that you're looking at, is not grass at all. It's paint. Now, the fast surface was an issue last year in Game 5 of the Division Series in this ballpark with Minnesota. And a key play in the game, a sharp ground ball turned into a triple for the Twins. They wound up winning that ball game 5-4, so it did come into play.
And let's don't get confused at home. This is not sod that you just put in your front yard that's nice and gooey and soft. This thing has been compacted and rolled over time and time again. It's hard. It's almost like concrete out there.
And that's why it's going to be very important for these Oakland outfielders as well as the Boston outfielders to make sure that their angles are correct.
Ground ball toward the hole. Ellis down to get it. Knocks it down. Does he have a play? He does not. At third, Damon. He took the turn, heads on back, and the bases are loaded. Walker with his second hit tonight.
I was talking to Ron Washington earlier. He told me Mark Ellis has made great strides defensively this year. He saved the run, just keeping his ball from going into the outfield. This is a great play by Mark Ellis. He doesn't get an out, but he keeps a run from scoring.
This is a great play by Ellis, but I still go back to that double play ball that was hit to Chavez. They should be out of this inning right now, and now you got Manny coming up with the bases loaded. You give the Red Sox extra outs, you are in big trouble.
Manny Ramirez now, no place to put him. He struck out in the first inning.
Well, when we talked to Mock before the game, we asked him, is there anyone that you don't want to beat you? The first thing out of his mouth was Manny Ramirez. Well, there's nowhere to put him. Who are you going to throw? You have to pitch to him now.
Maka looked like he had eaten some bad shrimp when he said Manny's name. And the first one is in there for strike one.
What amazes me about Manny Ramirez is even though he's such a great RBI guy, he is so patient. You talk about a guy waiting for his pitch. Even in this situation where your heart's beating 100 miles an hour, he's going to be patient and try to get a pitch that he knows he can drive.
Manny's heart is beating similar to how your heart is beating when you're out of the pond fishing.
You got that right.
The 0-1, big swing and a miss. Foul tipped it actually to Hernandez net, and it's 0-2. A lot of Red Sox fans have made the long trip out to Oakland rooting for Manny.
Well, he went with a fastball on the first pitch and came back with a split finger. That's his money pitch. Now, he can do many things here with Manny. He can go with a fastball in, he can go fastball up and away, or he can try to throw a split finger in the dirt. There's many things he can do right now.
He can throw a split finger in the dirt because he knows from earlier that Ramon Hernandez is going to be able to block that ball and keep it in front. It gives Tim Hudson some extra confidence.
He's in the hole, and here comes the 0-2 pitch. Broken bat and a foul ball. That chopped down the third base line.
Well, that's a pitch similar to what Jeff was talking about earlier. 0-2. You don't want to put anything over the middle of the plate. This was not too bad of a pitch to hit.
No, that's too good of a pitch. It was too good to Johnny Damon, and this is way too good of a pitch to a guy that's as dangerous as Manny Ramirez. We talked about Hudson earlier having a little bit of difficulty getting the ball down in the strike zone. You got to get this ball down, and you got to get it down now.
Manny has been clutch throughout his career. One of the best pressure hitters in the game, and yet this year, it's fascinating that he is 0 for 8 with the bases loaded. Hudson's 0-2 again. Too high.
I like that one.
Well, that's exactly what we're talking about. 0-2, there's many things that you can do. You can go with a split finger in the dirt. You can go up and in like that pitch, or you go up and away. But I think he's setting up for this pitch. He may try to go fastball away and lock him up.
You better get it out there.
That's what Manny's thinking. Get it out there. Two down. Bases jammed on the 1-2. On the infield, a high bounder. Ellis, an easy play. Great side retired. Hudson indeed with a great job. They're fired up in Oakland as Hudson wiggles off the hook. Still 1-0 Boston. Pedro Martinez into the windup, and his first pitch of this inning is in there for a strike on Jermaine Dye. If Tim Hudson had any hair, he would have been standing on end. After the half inning he just worked his way through, facing Manny Ramirez with the bases loaded. And he got one of the great and tough hitters in baseball to chop out to second and end that threat. A little pop up into right. Nixon charging in. Had to test that strained calf a little bit, but makes the catch for out number 1. And watch the reaction on Hudson after getting out of that jam.
And that's Tim Hudson all the way. He is as fiery as you get. When he takes that mound, he gives so much confidence to his team. He wants it so bad. He's got the biggest cojones of anybody in that pitching rotation. And
you look at Hudson, and he doesn't have his best stuff tonight. But I tell you what, he is pitching like an absolute warrior.
Here's Chris Singleton, a .245 average with a homer and 36 RBIs. Manning center field for the Oakland A's.
Did we expect anything less out of these two guys tonight? I don't think so.
That's a fair ball. Raked inside, first and down the line. Nixon sliding to stop it, but he bobbled it. Singleton pulls up into second. He'll be content with a double. And he was thinking triple. He winds up with 2 bases, a double with 1 out.
Well, he gets a fastball and does a great job of lining it past the first baseman. Now, as we were talking about, this output can get very quick. This ball's moving pretty fast, but he kind of slowed up for a minute there. Almost as if he didn't pick up Ron Washington to get the sign as to whether or not to keep going to third.
Well, when you're running to first base and the ball's down the right field line, it's in front of you. You're the one that's got to make the decision. Forget about the third base coach. You can see the baseball.
I agree with you. I agree with you on that totally.
So here's Mark Ellis, and a base hit will tie this one up against Pedro Martinez. He's 0 for 1 tonight with a fly to center.
We were just talking about, David, about Pedro throwing those fastballs inside to those left-handers on that first pitch to try to set up that changeup later on in the AB. Singleton never let him get there. Fastball in, down the right field line.
Martinez from the set gets a long look at Singleton. And that one is wide. Coming into tonight, Ellis with just 2 at-bats in his career on Pedro, but he was 2 for 2, 0 for 1 this evening. Born in Rapid City, South Dakota, and a very underrated second baseman. He led all Major League second basemen in total chances and putouts.
Well, like I said, I was talking to Ron Washington today, and he said he puts in more work at second base trying to be better each day. And it has paid off, and it definitely paid off last inning when he stopped the ball in the hole.
Well, the A's right now trying to make sure that that great effort by Hudson to shut down Manny Ramirez with the bases loaded, that pays off.
You can be assured that Pedro, regardless of where we are in the lineup, he's not going to give in to anybody with a runner in scoring position. He's going to try to make his pitches regardless of who's standing at the plate.
Now, this is his first 3-ball count of the night. The first man he has walked tonight. First and second, 1 down. From Oakland's Network Associates Coliseum, David Justice, Dave O'Brien, Jeff Brantley, and Dave Bryan with you. It's game number 1 of the division series. It's been since 1918 that the Red Sox have won a World Series. But more recent history now, the Oakland A's have made the playoffs. This is now 4 years in a row, and have been first round and out each of the last 3 Dave Justice.
Right, and they're feeling a sense of pressure. Now, this is an organization, this is a team that has been ousted in the first round. They're feeling like that window of opportunity may be closing on them, and maybe now is the time that they get it done.
Well, they have not won a playoff series since beating Boston way back in 1990 in the American League Championship Series. The Reds swept them in the World Series that year. So Oakland 0 for 5 in their last 5 playoff series. Here's DeRozzo. Runners at first and second, 1 down. And that one almost hit him on the elbow.
Well, this is a huge AB for DeRozzo and the Oakland A's, because I can guarantee you Pedro feels in his gut that he can get a ground ball double play right here. We've seen him time and time again try to start these left-handers inside, then go back away with a changeup to try to get him to roll over. Singleton never let him get there, but this pitch inside to DeRozzo is not even hittable.
Martinez has missed with 5 consecutive pitches.